that for every day for the next 5 years, what happens?
You start to like it.
Huh?
You start to like it.
You start to like it, yeah, you love it, you like it so much. You get transferred back to England, and you say, well, you know, there might be a mosquito in England somewhere, so I'm going to keep drinking my gin and tonic, right? But what are you really? You're an alcoholic. You're addicted to gin and tonic, right? But people would drink it, and I'm not an alcoholic. I just take my medicine every day. And that's people. Me, an alcoholic? No, I'm just taking my medicine every day. What were they? They were addicted to gin. And so, people whose parents and grandparents are really big gin drinkers probably have some connection to the British Empire, because that's all they drank. Gin and tonic, all the way around, okay? It's made from juniper berries, and basically what you do, take your juniper berries, put them in the mix, let it ferment, distill it, and you've got gin. Okay? Now, not so much. I think we've got shots that help with malaria, and gin's kind of nasty, to be honest with you. Okay. Then there's rum. Rum's a little bit more palatable. Whose parents or grandparents drink rum? Really? When I was in Florida, like every hand shot up. Why? Because I had a high degree of Hispanics in my class. And rum is to the Hispanic and the Spanish culture as gin is to the English culture. Okay? First of all, where do you grow sugar cane? Subtropical. Yeah, the Caribbean. Some of it's made from molasses, but rum is really, really, really big. Does anybody know who the biggest rum distillery in the world is and where it's at? Ron Rico down in Puerto Rico. Ron Rico is the #1 economic engine down in Puerto Rico. If they have a bad year, the island has a bad year. If they have a good year, the island has a good year economically. It's a huge operation down there. One of these days I'm going to get down there. Yes, sir?
We saw like Bacardi distillery.
Maybe it's, I think it's the Ron Rico family, the Bacardi, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, they're all together. I think it might be the Ron Rico family, but it's called Bacardi, so, yeah. So there you go. Rum's a big, huge, especially down in Florida with the Hispanic influence down there. And rum is, how do I say this? You know, it's a gateway kind of college girls drink. That's what college girls start drinking nowadays. They don't go right to gin. They usually start out on rum. It mixes really well with Coke and sweet drinks and things like that, okay? So there you go. Oh, man, I break out in sweats every time I talk about tequila. Man, if you were drinking tequila back there, I could smell it, and I would probably start to get a little bit sick. Anybody ever have a really bad night with tequila? Oh my gosh. You know what I'm talking about, right? Anybody else breaking out in sweat? Man, I had one. My last night with tequila was definitely the worst. I can't smell it anymore without thinking about that night and wanting to go and use a trash can for something other than trash. Tequila is nasty. Does anybody know how to make tequila?
It's agave.
The agave cactus. Here's what they do. They go out into the desert and they find the agave cactus, and then they take razor blades and they slit the cactus, and it seeps, weeps, bleeds, whatever you want to say, and they collect that seepage, and it's kind of a, we got to be careful what I say here. It's sticky, white, and nasty, and it tastes horrible, I'm sure. And they put it in here, and they allow it to ferment. Right? And when it ferments, you get tequila. It's actually, and it depends on how you talk about it. I mean, people, it's a hallucinogen. The agave cactus is bad news. Okay. Now, here's my real test. What's at the bottom of the best bottles of tequila, which is an oxymoron, by the way. There's no such thing as a best bottle of tequila. It's the worm. Why is the worm in there?
No idea.
Nobody knows? I've stumped.
Doesn't help keep the fermentation.
Well, here's what I say about that. If you drink enough to get to the worm, you are absolutely going to hallucinate. It's not the worm, it's the tequila you have to drink to get to the worm. And yes, I ate the worm.
Yeah, I did too.
It is a real, honest-to-God worm.
My dad tricked me to eat when I was like 5.
Why is the worm in there? It's not for you to eat.
Wasn't it like a selling point for type of tequila and it kind of just stuck?
I've stumped the audience here. You say it's a selling point? Yeah, it's a kind of a marketing gimmick. But originally, it served a purpose.
Maybe like soak up some of the alcohol?
In a way. All right, here you go. See, this is why you come to class, right? You can't, where else can you find this? Not even on the internet. It's kind of like the quality check on tequila. Okay? When people die, if they don't cremate them, what do they do to them? But what do they do before they bury them? They embalm them. What's embalming? Basically, filling you up with formaldehyde, which is just another word for alcohol. It preserves you. And so what they used to do, it's kind of like the proof. You drop a live worm in there. Of course, he's going to die. He'd die happily. And then you seal the bottle. Okay? If you take that bottle and there's not enough alcohol in there to preserve the worm, if you take that bottle and you shake him up, what's going to happen to Mr. Worm?
Fall apart.
It's going to fall apart and decay and look all kinds of gross, milky. Okay? But if you shake it at Mr. Worm, floating around with a smile on his face, and he's perfectly intact, it looks like the day you dropped him in there. What's that tell you about the alcohol content? Yeah, probably. You definitely shouldn't be drinking it. But the alcohol content is not weak. It's strong enough to preserve Mr. Worm. And so that's why they put the worm. See, you're going to go back and tell your parents. Your parents will be, what'd you learn this week? Well, I learned why they put the worm in the bottle. What are they teaching you at that school?
What kind of worm is it?
Huh?
What kind of worm is it?
Any kind you can get your hands on.
So like the kind that come out in the rain?
Any worm that happens to be crawling by this distillery. Now you talk about marketing. Now they're doing things like they put scorpions in there. I'm thinking,
You go to Vietnam, they put a tarantula in there, or they put a cobra in there.
The worst part of it is that you probably get so drunk you think I'm gonna eat the tarantula. That's what tequila will do to you. Okay, be warned. Then we go from tequila, which is probably the worst, according to me, to vodka, which is probably the best. And when I say the best, I mean I don't want the best thing about alcohol, vodka is very neutral. It mixes well with everything. And this is the honest God truth. It's kind of not funny. It's the choice of alcoholics who drink on the job everywhere. What they'll do is they will take their water bottle, once again, and they'll do 50% water and they'll do 50% vodka. And they'll have their water bottle with them all the time. If you got a bartender that's walking around with their water bottle like a teddy bear, I would be suspicious. Now, why is vodka work very well with that?
Clear?
It's clear, number one. Doesn't smell. If you drink tequila, I can smell it on your breath. You drink rum, I can smell it on your breath. You drink gin, I can definitely smell it on your breath. Vodka is very hard to detect because it's odorless. Now, if you overdo it, you get garlicky breath. Okay? But the key is to, most, and I have some experience. I mean, most alcoholics, they drink in small doses throughout the day to kind of just get by. So you can't really detect it. Okay? So vodka, but because it's odorless, it's tasteless, it mixes well with everything, lacks color, odor, and flavor. It's really a good, what I would call a universal drink. And so if you don't drink anything else, you probably drink vodka. All right? Whose parents here drink vodka? Yeah, okay. There you go. All right. How are we doing here? You guys learned enough today? Yeah. You learned a lot today, didn't you? Pretty cool.